Hi students, we are discussing 8th unit, that is production of food from plants. After term 2 exams, so we are going to start again those lessons. So in food productions, I told you there are some methods is there. The first one is preparing soil, and the second one is sowing. Third one is applying manure and pesticides. We are going to discuss the fourth one, that is irrigation. This is the fourth method, a very important method for the crops, for the fields. All steps are very important in agriculture fields because every step is required for proper growth of crops in the fields. So irrigation is nothing but facilitate water to the crops. So applying sufficient water to the crops for the growth and the development of the crops. What is the need of water for the crops? So why we need water? Why plants need water? So I told you what is photosynthesis, or else we will discuss in higher classes what is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is nothing but plants preparing their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Plants takes carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. They prepare glucose and release oxygen into atmosphere. So plants need water for the preparation of carbohydrates. For the photosynthesis process, plants require water. Then what is the need of water for the crops? To prepare photosynthesis. So if water is not there, can plants prepare their own food? No, it is not possible, because all the nutrients present in the soil will be dissolved into the water, then will be absorbed by the roots and to the xylem to the various parts of the plant body, including stem, roots and the branches, and finally the water will be entered into the leaf. And the chlorophyll, in the presence of sunlight, and they absorb the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, they prepare food materials, that is glucose. For the preparation of carbohydrates, for the preparation of glucose, plants require water. Some amount of water will be utilized for the preparation of the carbohydrates, and the remaining water will be evaporate. Transpiration takes place in the leaf, evaporate into the atmosphere through the stomata. So most of the water will be evaporated into the atmosphere. The water will be enter into the sky to form clouds. In the rainy seasons, the water will become droughts. This is the cycle. It will happen. The water will come in the rain forms, and it will evaporate from the plants and from the humidity, from the temperatures, forms into the sky, forms clouds, condensations, and this is a cycle. It will happen. So irrigation is a very important for the plants. Water supplying is a very important for the plants. If you supply plenty of water, we can get a good production, plenty of productions, plenty of crops. So in Rabi seasons, there are two types of seasons. One is Kharif season, another one is Rabi seasons. Kharif is nothing but it's a rainy season. In rainy seasons, we get more production because of plenty of water is available in June from the rains. In some areas, most of the people, they will depend on the rain waters. They do not have bore wells, they do not have wells, they do not have canals, they do not have rivers. They have to be dependent on the rains. If the rains came, plenty of rains came, they get good production. If there is no rains, there is no food materials, proper food materials. If you go to Andhras, in some areas, there is a plenty of rivers is there, plenty of always the water is flowing from through the canals. From the canals, they will make some. They will take some pipes from the pipes, some canals. They will take the water from the canals. That water will be entered into the fields, so they will get a plenty of food production. That is different methods. So there are different types of irrigations is there. So there are different types of irrigations is there. What are they? So first one is furrow irrigation. Furrow irrigation. What is furrow irrigation? Second one is basin irrigation. Basin irrigation. Third one is a modern method of irrigation. Modern method of irrigation. Modern method of irrigation. What are the modern method of irrigation? In the modern method of irrigation, again there are sprinkler irrigation. Sprinkler irrigation. And the second one is drip irrigation. Second one is drip irrigation. These are there are so many olden days, like they will remove the water from the wells by using bullock carts, by using from laborers, by using some chain missions. There are so many methods for that. Like they use some fans in olden days. They use different types of methods to take the water from the wells and pour into the fields. There are so many methods that you can Google it. So the different types of methods of irrigations. So what is furrow irrigation? So in your textbook they have given a beautiful pictures. In a particular field, there are crops is there. Like in the between, those are the crops. So in the between the crops, exactly there is a small canal is there, small like canal. The way between the two crops, there is a small way is there to flowing of water from one place to the another place. What they will do, they will take the water from the canals, like the canals. So this canals, the water will be entering into these fields. So from the corner of the fields, they will make some small madulu anta telugu ma chinna chinna madulu laga chestha untaru. So they will make some small canals. So this is the large one. What they will do, they will close this one. They will close this part and they will open these two parts. What happens? When the water enters from the canal into the fields, they will close this part. What happens? Through these small canals, the water will be entered to this whole fields, through these two canals. If these two canals is filled, what they will do? They will close this and they will open this like this. Again they will close and they will open this parts. Like this, the farmers they technically use this method to flow the water from one place to the other place. So it is nothing but it's a furrow irrigation. They have given a beautiful picture in your textbook. Look at the pictures. Furrow irrigation. Figure 5. Look at the paddy crops. How the beautifully paddy crop is growing. Between the two crops, two lines crops, there is a small way is there. This small way, page number 132. So the water is flowing from one place to the another place. So the crop absorbs the water from the roots and to the xylem to the various parts of the plant body to prepare the carbohydrates and for the process of photosynthesis. Next one is basal irrigation. It is also a look like a furrow irrigation, but to the entire field, the water is filled. The water is filled. There is no gap between one crops to the one line to the other lines. So the water is filled to the entire fields. So when water is floating, so when it's floating on the lands, when the sufficient water is supplied to the crops or the fields, they will stop the bores or wells, whatever may be. These are the furrow irrigation and the basic irrigations. Next one is modern methods. Nowadays we are seeing a modern methods. So what is the use of this modern methods? Where the water scarcity is there, in Telangana there are so many water scarcity is there because there is no wells, there is no bore wells, so there is no plenty of rivers. If you go to in other districts, this is Mahbub Nagar, there is a very dry area, so they do not have plenty of waters. Then they will go for this. The very good method. One is sprinkler irrigation, another one is drip irrigation. What is the use of this sprinkler irrigation and what is the use of this drip irrigation? I think you saw that the sprinkler irrigation, when you go to a park, so in the park there is a large pipe is there. So this large pipe, in the corner they have a one like a small cup. So there is a small like holes is there in the corner. So it will rotate like this. So this, the cap will be rotate like this. When this rotating, the water will be sprinkled from here to there, like all the corners. So I think you saw the sprinkler irrigations. It's there in your textbook. Just you see the sprinkler irrigation, how it's sprinkling. Page number 134, figure 18. See, if this sprinkler irrigation is there, the less amount of water will be utilized to the crops. The water will be not waste. So when the water is flowing from one place to the other place, for furrow irrigation, for basal irrigation, the more water will be absorbed into the soil, the water will be waste. This method is very, very good method. So sprinkler irrigation is good, but drip irrigation is very, very good method than compared to the sprinkler irrigations. Where less water is there, if very less water is there, so the sprinkler irrigation is nothing but, so if in palm trees or in whatever, maybe in gardens, we can use this. In crops also, in grapes, so in vegetables, in palm plants, in palm house also they will use this type of drip irrigations. So there is a large pipe is there. So there is a large pipes connected to the bores, and from this large pipes, there is small pipes are connected. So the small pipes will be exactly where the roots is present. It will be, the small pipe is kept where the root is present. The small pipes have one or two small holes. One or two small holes in every place. So what happens when the water is flowing from one place to another place? Now exactly the water will be drop by drop, not by furrow irrigation, not basal irrigation, not a sprinkler. The water will be go away from this pipe drop by drop, drop by drops. So where the roots is present, where the roots is present. This method is very useful where the plenty of water scarcity is there. Where the plenty of water scarcity. Water ఎక్కువ తక్కువ ఉంటాయి ఆ ప్రదేశాలు. It's very good method. There is no waste of water in this method. There is no waste of water in this method. So this is a very good. So if you pour 1 liter of water to the plants, it will absorb 0.1 ml of water for the preparation of carbohydrate. The remaining 999 ml water will be evaporated into the atmosphere. Then what is the need of applying more water to the plants? So different types of plants require different types of quantity of waters. Paddy crops require more amount of waters. If you apply more amount of water to the crops also, it's called as logging. It is not good method to apply more water to the plants. So it will affect on the breathing of the plants, breathing of the crops. So plant also, the plenty of water is always there. Crops will not grow properly because they can't breathe properly. That's why how much water is required for the plants grow, that much water should be applied to the crops, not more than that. So that is called as water logging. What is water logging? If more water is applied, so sufficient water, more than sufficient water is applied to the crops, they will not breathe properly, they will die. So if they are not breathe, so they will die. So water is required, breathing also required for the crops. This is the methods of irrigations. What is irrigation? Supplying of water to the crops. So furrow irrigations, basin irrigations, modern types of irrigations are sprinkler irrigations. Nowadays they are using drip irrigation. In olden days they use bullock carts to pull the water from the wells. They use some chain machines pull the water from the wells. They use some laborers pull the water from the wells. There are so many methods was there, but nowadays we are seeing the different types of modern types of irrigation. If you go to other countries like Israel, Australia, they will apply water for the helicopters. They will apply pesticides for the helicopters. Can you Google it in YouTube type in. So irrigation in Australia. Pesticides, how the pesticides used in Australia is like Israelites. Pesticides using by helicopters. How they will use? Because 10 acres of lands, 100 acres, 1000 acres of lands. We can't do this by the human beings, by the tractors. They need within 1 hour they will spread it. So okay, thank you students. So this today homework, write irrigation and write the different types of irrigations. Furrow irrigations, basin irrigations, modern method of irrigation, sprinkler irrigations and drip irrigations. It is very important. So which method is good where the plenty of scarcity is there, water scarcity? Drip